Hello, welcome in. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hopefully, you all are doing well. If you watch on YouTube, apologies. I didn't realize I did not send the stream to YouTube yesterday, and I didn't realize it until after the stream. So, apologies for that. If you're a YouTube watcher, there was a stream yesterday, but it was on X only, apparently, and my Twitch, because for some reason, I did not send that to YouTube unknowingly. So apologies for that. You can go back and rewatch it on my Twitch or my X account or the Rolling Insights X account if you want. We talked a lot, kind of recapped the week in football. And, I gave some thoughts on Nico Harrison, some thoughts on just like overall of the teams, like kind of moving forward, Brian Daboll's firing, stuff like that. We mainly just did a recap of what's been going on. We are going to talk Thursday night football, and then I think Steve is going to hop in, so I'm sure we'll get into some stuff with him. As far as Thursday night football goes, we have Jets and Patriots tonight. The Patriots are minus 12.5, 13 in some spots. There's even a 13.5 out there as well. So kind of a ranging line here, but between 12.5 and 13.5 point favorites for the New England Patriots tonight. Overall, this is still a divisional game. So, I think the Patriots will win. I think they will win handily, but it's tough for me to want to lay 12.5 with a division team on a short week. It just doesn't sound good to me. So I'm probably not going to have a bet on a side of the game. I do think there's some angles we can attack from a touchdown perspective. So first and foremost, I do think touchdowns are never priced well today and age. Like the books really nuke, the touchdown odds the majority of the time. I do think there's some value on some of the Jets guys to score touchdowns because their team total it's like 14 or 15 points. So, Vegas is not expecting them to have much success on offense tonight. And that's going to give you value on anybody basically not named Breece Hall. Mason Taylor's at plus 250 for an anytime touchdown. He would probably be my favorite guy from the Jets, but any of the Jets pass catchers, there's value on these guys because they don't have Garrett Wilson available tonight. So that gives you Arian Smith, Tyler Johnson, Isaiah Davis. They acquired Adonai Mitchell in the Colts trade. Like that's four guys that should see time on the field, and they're all priced above 7-1 for an anytime touchdown. So if you're someone that thinks that this game can be closer than the spread indicates, you think the Jets can score a couple of touchdowns, you're getting value on anybody not named Breece Hall. So from that perspective, I think you could take some stabs on these Jets guys, like for sure. No issues there. Nathan, you said you grabbed Mitchell over 13.5 yards and 40 plus and a touchdown. Don't hate that. I think Adonai Mitchell is their most talented receiver. Whether or not he sees a bunch of time on the field kind of remains to be seen. But yeah, I don't hate it for the value. I mean, you're getting him at 10-1 for an anytime touchdown. Don't hate that whatsoever. 13.5 yards. I mean, he's one of those guys, like he catches one pass, he probably goes over 13.5 yards. With how he can win down the field. So I don't hate that. What I'm going to do is I think this is a really good spot for the Patriots passing game, especially like on the perimeter. That if you look at splits for the entire season, the New York Jets are one of the worst teams in the league at defending perimeter receivers. Now we take Sauce Gardner out of the equation as well. So you clearly want to attack these guys with outside receivers. We're going to have no Kayshon Boutte for the Patriots tonight. And last week, same situation. The two biggest winners were Mac Hollins and Kyle Williams. Those were the two guys that had the biggest positive outlook for their usage with Kayshon Boutte off the field. Matt Collins led the team in receiving and fantasy points, all that stuff last week. And then Kyle Williams got, that's really one of the first times we've seen Kyle Williams this season, someone that had a great training camp and was really, really hyped up coming into the season. Ran a route on over 50% of Drake May's dropbacks last week, and the vast majority of those were all outside routes. They don't put him inside much. Like, he's an outside receiver, and he's going to win down the field. That is something that I think we can take advantage of. Matt Collins, too, like, he's very capable of, winning down the field. And that's something I want to take advantage of tonight. So those are the two guys I'm kind of looking at from the Patriots side of things. Matt Collins I took at plus 250 for an anytime touchdown, and he was 12-1 for the first touchdown. And then Kyle Williams on Bet365, 4-1 for an anytime touchdown, and 20-1 for his first touchdown. So Kyle Williams and Matt Collins, those are my guys tonight. I'm going to hope that Drake May throws a touchdown or two, and they go to one of those two guys. That's kind of the stance I'm taking. I'm fine taking two guys from one team, considering they're such big favorites. They have a decent team total. And, yeah, I think the matchup is really good. So Kyle Williams and Matt Collins, those are my guys tonight on the Patriots. I also sprinkled Kyle Williams for 2+ touchdowns, and that's only because Bet365 is hanging that at 65-1. If you look on FanDuel, Kyle Williams is 40-1 for 2+ touchdowns. On Bet365, it's 65-1. So a huge differential there. I liked the value with the 65-1. So I fired a little bit on that as well. So that's kind of where I'm looking at for this game. I do think the Patriots win. Won't be shocked if it's a close game. Won't be shocked if, the Jets do a little bit better than expected. Like, the Jets are terrible, but I mean, I still don't know where I'm at with this Patriots team. That's something we talked about yesterday a good bit. Like, they should have no problems winning this game, but I could see the Jets, having a little bit more success than most people anticipate tonight. And I hope that's the case, because that Thursday night game last week when it was Broncos and Raiders, that was probably the worst game of the season, I'm going to be honest. And it's unfortunate it came in prime time, but that game was absolutely terrible. Yeah, I do like Drake May to throw for 2 touchdowns tonight. That's pretty juicy. It's like -160. But if you're making a same game parlay or something, I would be fine. It's -164 on FanDuel, but I would be fine sprinkling on that, to be honest. Let me see. Let's look at Kyle Williams' receiving prop is low as well, 18.5. He could beat that on one catch. Matt Collins a little bit higher at 40.5. I didn't take either of those, but just interesting to look at, I guess. We also have a banger college basketball game tonight. Purdue and Alabama. Really, really good game there. So Purdue is ranked second in the country. They were first. Pretty sure they moved down to 2. Alabama is ranked highly again this season as well. They're coming off a huge win. They beat St. John's over the weekend, which that was a really big win for Alabama. So that should be a great game tonight. I've seen most people giving out picks for that. I've taken Alabama. I haven't taken anything, but I thought I would be on Alabama, but I don't know. I don't like a side enough really to take it. But it'll be a fun game to watch. Just sticking with our Patriots touchdown scorers for tonight. Steve is going to come on in a few minutes here. If you guys have any questions on anything, go ahead and ask. I still can't believe that. Oh, chat. People were so back during the summer when I was doing all my drafts for the upcoming season, we did that 17-team best ball draft, and I posted my team on TikTok, and the video got like 10,000 views. Like, people were making fun of me, like acting like my team was terrible. They're like, your team's terrible. I don't understand how anybody can have a team in a 17-team league and you say their team is terrible. Like, everyone's team looks terrible when it's 17 teams, but nonetheless. So I made a TikTok. It got like 10,000 views. Of majority of people just making fun of me, telling me my team was terrible. We moved up this past weekend. We're up to 6th place out of 17 teams, and that is with we haven't had Rashee Rice for almost, he missed 6 weeks, and I also have George Kittle on that team, and he's missed like the entire season. So we got our guys back healthy, and we're looking to make a push. I think we can make a run up these standings. I think we have a good chance to win this league. We have Jahmyr Gibbs leading the charge, and then Mahomes, Rice, Hollywood Brown, George Kittle, Jalen Waddle's been doing great. So I just think it's hilarious that everyone was making fun of that team, and now we're up to 6th place, even though our 2 best players outside of Jahmyr Gibbs have missed the majority of the season thus far. It's early in the week, but full PPR, would you play Chris Rodriguez over Tracy and Walker? So, Ryan, look, I'm in a spot in a couple leagues. In the ESPN league, I've showed you guys on stream a few times that I'm in 2nd place. I have most points by like 100. The league where I have CMC and Jonathan Taylor. We have Jonathan Taylor on a bye week. I am playing Chris Rodriguez in that league. And then in my home league, I have a running back on bye this week as well. I can't remember who. I'd have to check, but I'm playing Chris Rodriguez in that league as well. So I'm taking a little bit of a stand. Chris Rodriguez does not project very well. From what I've looked at, I'm seeing him projected around 9 to 10.5 points, depending on what site you look at. But I'm taking a stand on him. He scored a touchdown last week. Good spot against Miami. Miami's run defense is a lot better than their pass defense, but it's still Miami. I think Washington's going to have a chance to score some touchdowns in that game. So I'm taking a stand with Chris Rodriguez. I'm starting him in 2 leagues this week. So I'm riding Chris Rodriguez. If you want to ride him along with me, I would welcome you. I stand firmly by Chris Rodriguez. If he's available on the wire in your league, I would go pick him up right now. I think he's a great stash for the rest of the season. The Commanders, if he's going to be the lead back, maybe they get Jayden Daniels back, maybe they don't. But the Commanders have a pretty decent playoff schedule. I think they play Dallas one week, and they play another bad team as well, mixed in there. So there is some potential for Chris Rodriguez to be like a flex option down the stretch of the season. If you're in like a 12-team league, if he's sitting on the wire, I'd go scoop him up. Would you play him or Sean Tucker, assuming no Bucky? It kind of sounds like Bucky's going to play now, so I would lean Rodriguez there. I don't understand, like, the Bucs said there was no timetable on Bucky's return like Monday, and then they come out Wednesday and he's practicing. So I have no idea what the Bucs are doing, but it sounds like he's going to play now. So New England has the best run defense. 53 is the most yards they've given up. Brees is sitting at 58.5. I probably wouldn't take – I probably wouldn't bet it under, but I definitely wouldn't take the over. I would be looking at his receiving stuff. Particularly probably his receptions prop would be the best look, I think. Maybe he can rack up 3, 4, 5 catches if they're losing. That'd probably be my preferred route if I was looking at some Breece Hall stuff tonight. But definitely can't touch the rushing yards. I just don't trust it. I think Steve's in here. Let me add him. Steve, how are we doing today?
Oh, we're doing great, Ben. How are you?
Pretty good.
That's good to
I was telling chat that if you remember back in the summer, I made that TikTok about our best ball team that I drafted in the 17-team league, and it got like 10,000 views because everyone was making fun of me saying my team was terrible. And we've had no Rashee Rice for 6 weeks. George Kittle's been out the whole season, and we're up to 6th place in that league. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm waiting.
So we survived this week? We survived?
Oh, yeah. And in the Guillotine League, we survived, and we are moving on. We survived. Jonathan Taylor's 50 points moved us on. Shout out to Jonathan Taylor for that.
Oh, yeah. I know they normally give league MVP to a quarterback, but it has to be him this year.
I'm gonna make a TikTok later that's like my top 5 MVP options right now. He definitely is in there because I said it on stream yesterday, but Daniel Jones the last few weeks has not been good. He's just been, you know, Daniel Jones of old. The only reason their record is as good as it is because of Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I have him in one fan. It was funny. I can't remember if I posted this in Discord, but I have him in one, and I was facing him against Map to See in the other one in our expert league. So I wanted him to do well, but not too good. And then he went out and obviously
Yeah,
was highest fantasy points of the season possibly. I don't know. He's got to be up there in the top performance of the year. And
yeah,
so my one league, it was funny because I didn't even need anyone else. I think I had a 0 from somebody in that league. And I blew the doors off of whoever I was facing. But I also, in our expert league, came down to the end, and he only had like a 30-point lead. He had a few players playing, but he only had a 30-point lead. We had one player remaining, Jordan Love, who did nothing. So we ended up getting the doors blown off. But I was shocked at how close we were, considering that he had 55 points or something like that.
that's
So
crazy.
anyways, you win some, you lose some. Just hope I don't face him in the playoffs. Someone else needs to knock him out first.
Well, that was the problem last year. He had like an inconsistent year last year, but then he went like he won people titles. He went crazy in the playoffs, and now he's just been doing it, every week
Yeah.
this year. But
All right, what do we have on the agenda for today, Ben?
yeah, I was talking a little Thursday night football.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to dive into a little power rankings. If you want to talk about your team, we can do that. If you have anything else that comes off the top. So if you guys don't know, if you Steve and Caleb did a developer stream earlier, if you want to talk a little bit about that too, Steve.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we start there? Because that'll be quick. So every second Thursday, so the next one would be the 27th. So while everyone's at home watching football, we're just going to do a little developer stream and talk a little bit more about the data and how we power other businesses and what's available through the APIs and GraphQL. So for some folks, you might be like, "Hey, quit talking nerd to me. I don't speak nerd." For others who are nerd curious, you might want to join. And then for any nerds out there, definitely join. If you have any questions, pop them in, and we can kind of talk about, how it works, how to get access to the data, etc. It is the same data that's available in SportWise today. It's the same data that we use for all these kind of analysis, etc. But it's just another look at it. It's a look at it from the back end and data feeds, which we use to power other businesses. So we'll do that every second Thursday. Next one is going to be, because I kind of stumbled through GraphQL today. We didn't have a ton of time. We had about an hour presentation that we had scaled down to 20 minutes. So we'll spend more time on GraphQL next week or in 2 weeks next time.
Yeah, and I do know there's a couple people in the stream that are building stuff that have like reached out to me. I know they're in our Discord, so hopefully, they find value in that the more that you guys continue to do it, and I'm sure there's people that aren't watching that will discover that as well.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out if you're nerd curious.
Do you have any opinions on the Jets versus Patriots game tonight?
Well, I am quite confident that the Patriots are going to win, and they're going to end the 2-game winning streak for the New York Jets.
Yeah, the Jets on a 2-game win streak is crazy. Nathan, who is often in the chat, if you're still in here, Nathan, apologies because I think we kind of talked ourselves last week when Steve was on. We kind of talked ourselves into the Panthers for Survivor Pool, and that did not work out
I flipped
whatsoever.
it, and I
Classic
was going to.
Panthers. I mean, just classic.
And so, yeah, I last minute changed it from Denver. So I'm out. All entries are done. Revival entries are done.
I mean,
I'm
that
done.
Denver one was looking risky as
Not
well,
good.
like in classic Thursday night football fashion.
Well, if you look at your options from last week, Bills lost. Denver almost lost. Carolina lost. What
The
was
other
the
popular pick was the
Bears
Bears,
came
and
back
they
last
almost lost
minute.
too. Yeah.
So there was nothing was safe. Nothing was sacred last week. It was a tough week for Survivor. There was, it's funny because I don't know if I need to go back and look, but like I would love to go back and look at last week across all the leagues that I was in, all the pools that I was in, and see what ended up happening. Like who survived.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. I know in the Circa, I think there was like around 1,000 people left, and I think like 450 of them used Carolina. They were the most popular pick. So
yeah,
another like half of the Circa pool got knocked out. So if you used the Bears in the Circa Survivor last week, you're feeling pretty good.
yeah, yeah. And if we go back to the power rank here, why don't I share my screen really quick?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Screen share.
Steve, we might need to pool everyone together and hop in that Circa next year.
Yeah. How much is the buy-in?
I don't know. Does anyone in chat know? I've never entered it.
Is it
I'd
like
have to check.
$1,000?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. I know Travis gets in it. Obviously they have like tens of thousands of people that get in it, but yeah, let
Oh,
me pop your screen up here.
yeah. If it was $1,000, that'd be, and there's tens of thousands. That's a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's over 1 million if you win it. We do have a couple questions here.
Just refresh it to refresh.
Alex, this is my team for rest of season. What do you think? Drake May, Trevion Henderson, Judkins, JSN, Abuka, McBride, JJ. I mean, your starting lineup looks pretty good, Alex. Harvey also could be pretty good with J.K. Dobbins banged up. Loveland, I think, could definitely come on as well for Chicago. Alec Pierce has been great. So I think you're pretty set up there, Alex. I don't have any real issues with your starting lineup as well. And then Kevin,
Can you get a
bench.
better quarterback though, Tua? He's been
Well,
so hot
he
and
has
cold.
Drake May, though, so he's good.
No, I mean, in the
Oh, for on the
event,
bench? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you might need to pick someone if Drake May got hurt. Bench one for season long PPR Henderson, Dowdle, Pickens. Ooh, that's tough.
I
Henderson,
picked up Pickens in a
Pickens.
DFS lineup for this
Yeah,
week.
Pickens. I mean, they play the Raiders, so that's a good spot. Dowdle versus Henderson is a conversation. It's kind of tough. Like the Panthers have been pretty committed to riding Rico Dowdle. Um, they play Atlanta, and then obviously the Patriots play the Jets tonight. I don't think you can bench Rico right now, Kevin. So I think it's between Pickens and Henderson. And I don't know if I have a firm kind of lean there right now. But Dowdle is my favorite of the bunch, just given his workload recently. Like there's still a chance Henderson, like I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to what they do with Trevion Henderson. So all right.
Well, let's go power ranking and then survivor pool.
Yeah.
Because I find that makes more sense than the reverse order. But even though we're eliminated from survivor, I want to go back and just look again at this week. And I did another post on Reddit this week, even though I'm out.
Yeah, I'd love to know if
Uh,
anyone in the chat is still alive and there's
and has anyone played in any of these like week 11 on, if they enjoy them?
Yeah, I've never done one.
Because you can essentially join a 6 week, 7 week, 5 week.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so at the top we got the Rams. We've talked a lot about them. They have displaced the Colts. Colts were number one for a long time. Rams have bubbled up, and as we've talked about previously, deservingly. We
Yeah.
I know you put out your TikTok this week. Essentially, top two teams. Rams is one of them. Lions have started to rise up. Bears have not fallen. And I'm a big Bears fan lover, even though they keep scaring the pants off me and pulling out these kind of last minute wins. They kind of remind me of the Commanders last year.
Yeah, I can see that. Yes. Yes.
Seahawks, which I find interesting because in one of the matchups this week for Survivor, Seahawks are on the losing end of the recommendation. And then we got Tampa, your most hated team, the Steelers, and then the Bills.
Dude, the Bears might, I don't know. The Bears might overtake the Steelers.
I mean,
I don't,
really, you're really hating on the Bears, eh?
yeah,
Why?
I don't know. I just don't think they're good. Like, I don't think you can keep winning one score games like that. And their defense is not good. Their offense is fine. I don't have any problems with that, but I don't think their defense is very good. They play Minnesota this week, and I'll probably be on Minnesota in that game, I think. But
I
we'll see.
we'll talk about it in a minute. We'll flip screens, but
Yeah.
okay. Uh, yeah, like I think the commentary is fair. Like they keep winning, so that's why they're higher on the. And they've got good production from their offense. Um, their defensive turnovers per game is okay. No, it's really good. Sorry, not okay. I was looking at the one. Those are the Seahawks. They don't give up a lot of penalties. Their points against defense is okay. And then they don't really turn the ball over that much. Or no, am I looking?
Yeah. No, the Bears are that
Yeah,
high because they don't turn the ball over, and they have been getting a ton of turnovers.
yeah. So
So
no, they
what?
are
So I
penalized.
want to
Yeah.
after stream tonight, I'm gonna go into this your data space here, and I think it would be interesting. I'm gonna add the percentage chance per Vegas that they win the Super Bowl alongside, just so we can see that. Like,
Oh,
because I
cool. Yeah.
think, yeah, I'm gonna do that later. I think that's a good indication because this is something we talked about on the stream yesterday. It's so funny to like go look at the standings and like the projected playoff bracket right now, and then look at like the odds to win the Super Bowl. Like just for example, I was looking at the AFC to win the AFC odds. The Patriots are basically going to walk to the number one seed. Like it would be really hard for the Patriots not to get the number one seed given the rest of their schedule right now. And they're still fifth in odds to win the AFC. Like that's crazy. So if you go and like look at what Vegas has these teams like power rated as in comparison to what the actual standings are, it's like really interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Because I think this has been a really interesting year.
Yeah. Well, that has always been one of my thesis of where you can find performance advantages versus what's in the odds. This is my constant argument on Reddit, is that the odds represent popular opinion as well as predicted performance. Whereas what we're talking about, when you look just purely at performance, there's no opinion.
Correct. Yes.
Now, on the flip side, there's a lot of people that will say that the opinion markets like Kalshi and Poly markets, they're um, proving to be, more predictive of what the future will hold than any other thing, because it takes the opinion of thousands and millions of people across the board. However, I still come back to it. I'm like, there's an element of performance in all of this. And if you take the Maple Leafs odds are always worse because more people put dollars on the Leafs because they have a really large fan base that's engaged that puts money in. So Vegas can't risk having the correct odds for them. They always have to play down. So yeah, I think there's a huge advantage this year in being able to place some of those bets on like New England, where the odds are great. They're in the bettor's favor. And it's because they have an opinion that they're not that good.
Yeah, I think like the Ravens fall into that category for me right now. Obviously they were really, really hurt to start. Like coming into the season, you thought this is a top team. They were absolutely horrible for the first month and a half of the season, they were extremely banged up. Now they're starting to get healthy. So like they still don't look super good in the ranking here. But if you isolated that, first of all, they're better than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're right next to the Chiefs. They're above the Eagles. If we isolated this to like the last 2 weeks, I bet they would be even higher too. Like the last couple games. And they're really far down, like 15-1 to win the Super Bowl. I mean, they were the favorites coming to the season. So I do think there's some value there as well.
So the only thing is, like, do they make the playoffs?
Yeah, we had that debate on
this
stream yesterday.
You look at this list, like.
So the way for them to make the playoffs is they still win the division, and they're minus 230 to win their division. So they're going to have to flip. And the Ravens have. Let me pull up their schedule real quick. They play the Steelers twice, I think. Yeah, they still they have both games against the Steelers, and they have 2 games against the Bengals. So they have a chance to flip the division, and that would be the way that they get in the playoffs, I think. And if that's the case, because Buffalo, like coming into the season, there's no way, even if you thought the Patriots were going to be good, I don't think anybody was really picking the Patriots to win that division, because I don't think the Bills will win their division and the Ravens like are going to win, but their record is not as good as what it was. There's a good chance that we get Baltimore versus Buffalo like right away in the playoffs, which would be insane.
Yeah, that would be insane. So they'll have 8 wins guaranteed. Let's assume they beat your hated Steelers. So 9 wins. They're going to lose to New England.
Okay.
Let's just assume that.
Yeah.
So they'll have 9 wins. You think they can make the playoffs and win the division with 9 wins?
I do, just because 2 of those, like if they win, like 2 are coming against the Bengals, so that would be at the expense of Cincy, and then against the Steelers too, so it's going to be at the expense of the Steelers. So it just kind of would like work out in their favor a little bit. They do have the worst odds though, because we looked. Guru in chat yesterday, he was like, I don't know if the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens will all make the playoffs. And then I looked at the odds. So the Bills are still minus 1,500 to make the playoffs. The Chiefs are minus 590, and then the Ravens are minus 250. But the Ravens are the most risky one, I would say. And it's like they have to flip it and win the AFC North to get in, I think. So they're gonna have to win against the Steelers, and they're gonna have to beat the Bengals twice.
Yeah,
those are gonna be the big ones.
Yeah. Well, the other team that's been playing a lot better lately is the Bengals.
Yeah. And
is Joe Flacco going to play this week?
Yeah, I think so. And they activated they activated Burrow off IR, which means he can return in the next 21 days. It's probably going to be closer, like towards the end of that 3-week period. And he did say that it would be kind of dependent on their record if he comes back or not. But I mean, there's a chance that, he comes back because the Bengals are in the mix here. And that December 14th, Ravens Bengals, like that could be Joe Burrow's first game back.
It's funny because in the expert league, I was like, ooh, should I drop Brock Purdy and pick him up?
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? If he has a miraculous performance, it's great. But he's probably going to come back early, banged up, maybe not even used. So I didn't do it. And then someone did pick him up. Scott Keeley, I think, picked him up. Just quickly look at this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a worthy risk, because if your team is good, like, and he does come back for that game, you'd have him for what you would presume to be your playoff run. So I don't think it's the worst like risk to pick him up, but he directly said like it's going to be dependent on the Bengals record if he even comes back or not. So they're going to have to be in the mix for him to come back at all.
Yeah. I just looked. I was thinking drop Purdy or him. Like if Purdy comes back, you kind of get the same.
He should be back though, and look at the schedule for Purdy there though. Like say he doesn't even come back this week. Cleveland, he can do fine there. Gets another bye week to get healthy. So even if he, Tennessee is great, and then at the Colts is indoors. That's gonna be a super high total game. So good spot for him if he does come back.
Yeah. So, anyways, I didn't do it. I thought it would be a real bold play. But anyways, the things, the trades that we don't make, the players we don't pick up. I could write a whole book about that. Okay, well, let's look at Survivor then. Just pick week 11 again. Also, for those at home, we did we improved the decor of the top header and ribbon and
Yeah, it looks
freed up a
good.
bit more space, and the data space and everything looks a little bit better, a little cleaner.
I do
So
think it looks
hopefully
cleaner, yes.
those enjoy the aesthetic. And if you don't like that at all, you could always expand it and you can just get straight data. But yeah, I think it looks a lot better. Oh, and we also added the some of the functionality here, so you can now add buttons and create columns, etc. from this view. But looking at this week, the top teams, New England over the Jets, we just talked about that. Steelers over the Bengals, and then Rams over the Seahawks. So that Rams over Seahawks is an interesting one, because if we go back and we
Yeah.
look at the overall power ranking, Seahawks are pretty high up there. But even in comparison to the Rams, the Rams still have significant statistical advantage or performance advantage. The other interesting thing about this week is we have four home teams that are the home team advantage. We have
Yeah.
two essentially no advantage,
I was gonna say 2 flat 0 games is interesting.
and then the rest are all, which is, you never get this late in the season.
No, especially 2.
Yeah. So, and then you have a whole bunch of away games where the away teams have the advantage. So it's an interesting week. It could be a trap week. Texans over Tennessee, Bears over Vikings, Packers over Giants, Cowboys over Raiders. Or it could be a week where you can make some money.
Yeah, I would assume I don't know, because I've been out of this for so long. I don't know who people are using. Like, I mean, if you wanted to use the Patriots, obviously I think that's fine. But the Patriots, like I just said, have a really easy schedule down the stretch. So I feel like you could use the Patriots at another time. And if you haven't used them already, like there's going to be other games that you could use them.
Yeah, like I don't know how many teams have used the Texans yet. That would be the one that
Yeah,
I'd
that was
probably
going to
go
be
with.
my thought. I do think they already played Tennessee, didn't they? I think people
I
used
can find out.
them. Let me see. I think, yeah, they played. Yeah, they played the
Week
Titans on
4.
September. Yeah, they put. Yeah, so I think some people used them then. If you haven't, I would be fine using them. You do have Davis Mills at quarterback again, but I mean he beat the Jaguars last week, so that was a big loss for the Chiefs. The Jaguars losing last week. That was huge.
Yeah. But just quickly back to Houston. I would be shocked if that many people used Houston that week.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the percentage off the top of my head. I do know some people used them though. I don't know if it was the most popular pick, but I just always see like the circa numbers, and I do think like there's a decent amount of people that used them. But what percentage of the people that use them then are still alive? I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, that's what we have on the slate this week. Again, I'm dead, but still using this to kind of go and place some wagers on winners. I always try to place about 6 each week.
Okay. I like give us, so what's your favorite? Because I like the Vikings over the Bears. That's my pick this week.
I picked the Bears. It's plus money.
Oh God, going head to head, chat. Somehow that
Yeah.
we always end up doing this. Like I don't know why. How does it work out that way? We're always opposing each other.
Well, I don't know, but it makes for good TV. But I like Ben Johnson. I feel like the Bears are getting better. I feel like they're like the team, like they're like the Commanders last year, and they can only improve. Like first year head coach, young quarterback. Yeah, the defense has got to get a little bit better, but they've been able to find their way to score to victory. So the Vikings, to me, they have JJ McCarthy back, which I think will give them a bump on some of the historical performance. I did actually pick him up in one of my fantasy leagues for this week. Um, uh, so I think it'll overall be a good game. It's not going to be as lopsided as the performance indicates. But I look at the Vikings, like Justin Jefferson really hasn't been that impactful this year. Addison's been okay since he came back. Aaron Jones has been okay. So I think they've got a good defense. Yeah, I don't know. Go Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I do see the comparison to the Commanders because last year it was the same situation. I was sitting on the stream every week being like, all right, this is the week, like, we bet against the Commanders, and then, they would throw a last-second Hail Mary and win the game somehow. And then it's actually funny because we got to the playoffs, and even though I'd been fading the Commanders week after week, they matched up against the Lions, who were so banged up on defense. I was like, dude, I have to bet on the Commanders. I've just faded them for the last 2 months, and now I have to bet on the Commanders. And then they ended up winning that game. But that might happen with the Bears. I might lose on the Bears, and then ends up later on in the season that I'm back.
Loving them, getting a bear hug.
Yep, we'll have to see what happens.
The team that I also placed a small wager on is the Packers. They're killing me.
Yeah.
They're absolutely killing me because, like we talked about for weeks, I think we both agreed that we love them. And what is going on? What was that last week?
I don't know. I had the under in that game, luckily. That was a terrible game. They've really struggled. Their run defense has really struggled. If you read the blog on Monday, that's kind of what I highlighted. The couple times they've lost this season, it's been big rushing games from their opponents. Like Quinshon Judkins went over 90 and a touchdown against them, and the Browns are terrible. When they lost to the Panthers, Rico Dowdle, 120 and 2 touchdowns. They have really struggled to stop the run at certain points. I don't really think the Giants can take advantage of that as much as someone like the Eagles. So I think you're probably safe there. Are you worried at all, though? We do have our guy, Jameis Winston, back at quarterback, though.
I love him.
I know, and he's going to come in there slinging that. He's going to have no care in the world.
He's going to have 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. It's going to be the best. I because my Twitter just knows me so well. They've been just feeding me Jameson content of the one where they're like, what's the keys to success today? And he's like, I'm going to go out and play really hard, and God's going to choose if we win. It's just I love this guy. Always has a smile on his face. Just go out there without a care in the world, like you mentioned. And I am worried about him at quarterback because he can produce. He's a good quarterback. I don't know if he'll ever be the type of person that could win a championship with the way that he approaches life, because he's just not focused and serious enough. Gives up too many picks, makes too many mistakes, but he's talented.
Yeah, but he's great for fantasy football too. Just from that,
fantastic, especially if you don't have any minus points on interceptions. But I did want to talk about him, so I'm glad you mentioned him. But I also want to talk about Dylan Gabriel.
I'm curious to hear where are we going with this other than he stinks.
I saw a highlight package that had the 8 worst throws for the week. It's someone who kind of, I don't know if it's like they do it every week or not, whatnot, but it rose up the ranks on my X feed. And of the 8 throws, Dylan Gabriel had all 8 of the worst throws of the week. So you live it, you're in Canton, you're in Ohio. What is going on there? How can Stefanski continue to trot out there and say, this is the future?
Yeah, Austin said, give us Shador right there in the chat.
Yeah.
So okay,
Austin and I are aligned.
Here's my take on this. First, a couple weeks ago, I predicted that we would get Shador Sanders against the Titans. I think that's week 14 when we predicted that. So that was my prediction. So I'll stick to that. Stick to that prediction. So I don't. I would say from an outsider's perspective, and I have not reached out. I do have one source close to the team that no names, please. I haven't reached out to him and asked him about this, but from an outsider's perspective, I would say that Shedeur Sanders has to be so terribly bad at practice that a GM and coach that are on the verge of potentially getting fired and looking for any, spark of anything to save their jobs, like for them to not put him in yet, like he has to be so terribly bad at practice. Now, that being said, that doesn't change that I still would like to see him and everyone else would like to say, like, I still want to see what he can do because we've seen Dylan Gabriel for a few weeks. It hasn't been great. They stink. It makes no difference to put him in or not. So you might as well put him in and let's see what he's got. Now, second note, though, I'm going to tell you something. And no Browns fan wants to hear this. I'm going to be honest with you. I think there's a good chance, Deshaun Watson starts a game before Shedeur Sanders in a few weeks. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Maybe they're waiting for him to come back.
I do think that, yes.
Which I think that would be an acceptable reason for Shedeur not to play. But one of the things that I don't understand, and I heard someone on Cleveland radio talking about this, they're like, well, none of the players are complaining, like it would have been leaked out. So I go back to, I watched the preseason game. He looked good in the preseason game. There's enough of these people at practice, like media and journalists, etc., who would be documenting how terribly he looked. They're not.
Well, he doesn't they don't even let him practice like he doesn't even practice. Like they'll let him do stuff after practice. It's such a strange situation. Like it really is.
It's unbelievably. And then you see all these videos. Like there was one that was on my feed yesterday of him in the summer with Cam Ward. I think it was last summer. Maybe it was 2 summers ago.
Yeah, they worked out a lot in this, like leading up to the draft.
And he's slinging it in there.
They were actually in Vegas when we were in Vegas, Steve.
Oh, really?
We could have went and found them. Yeah,
we should have. So I don't. The whole thing is very peculiar to me because if you're trying to save your job, you think you would be trying everything. And like you said, what's the difference? Like,
yes,
your ownership is looking at those 8 passes from Dylan Gabriel, and it's like that's not even an NFL. Like that guy needs more. He might end up being good, but he is not ready.
Yeah, and I agree with Austin in the chat as well. Like, they might as well put him in. They're not losing anything. They've already lost. Like, they're already like Kevin Stefanski. I would say it's 50-50 that he gets fired right now. I know like most Browns fans would say he should be fired yesterday, but I think it's 50-50, truly. Andrew Berry might have saved this job because he had such a good draft this past year. Multiple good starting defensive players. He might have saved his job. I don't know. But yeah, like the team they're terrible. If anything, if he's so bad, they should put him in anyways because they're trying to stink. They want to get a high pick. So if he's as bad as he could be, then that's even more incentive to put him in. Like you're not losing anything. You're giving the fans what they want, but you're also getting what you want.
But there's such a polar opposites team because the defense is so good and the offense is so terrible. So imagine you were able to trot out their where are we? 2 wins. So they don't have a shot. But imagine you could maybe that's it. Maybe they don't want Shedeur to go out there because they know that he's going to be better. They see him in practice, and that's why you're not hearing any grumblings from the team complaining about because they all know that they're not making the playoffs. And if they trot him out there and he's an absolute gunslinger, that they're going to win games.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look at EPA per play at quarterback, I mean, Dylan Gabriel is 49th of every quarterback that's played this year. There's been like 63 quarterbacks that have played. Even if Shedeur Sanders is the worst quarterback in football. You can't be any worse than what they already have. They're already terrible. Like
Yeah.
you can't be any worse. I refuse to believe he could be any worse. There's no way. I don't believe it.
There's no way he's going to be worse.
Like we
There's
just
no
saw, like, did anyone watch what Jake Browning did for those couple games he started for the Bengals? Like, you can't be worse than that. It was the worst quarterback play I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Also, I just saw the report that Lamar Jackson was back at practice today. So please, somebody, I'm clipping this. I went on a rant yesterday, Steve, about these idiots on Twitter that freak out about these Wednesday practice reports all the time. Wednesday means nothing. And as I predicted, he was back at practice today. So just thank you. If you follow anyone for fantasy advice and they give out any sort of opinions on anything based off what happened on a Wednesday, just do not listen to those people, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope he gets a chance. Like, I don't know. I read another. It seemed like he's got this reputation of being like flashy and a personality problem like his dad. But then you hear all these things where he's like buying people cars and like he seems like a good dude. Like for that alone, like give the people what they want.
Yeah, I'll stick with my week 14 against the Titans prediction, but
God, we have to wait another
yeah,
month.
it's another month, man. But this I don't know, this Deshaun Watson stuff's murky in it because from what I've heard, they want him to start. So I can't believe it because I feel the energy because I'm in Ohio, Steve. Like you don't understand how much the people of Ohio dislike Deshaun Watson. Like it
Yeah.
would be detrimental to the franchise to trot him back out on that football field, but I truly think they will do it.
Yeah, I have no idea because I look at it, I'm like, that would be a plausible explanation is to not play Shedeur Sanders if he's available because
Yes.
Deshaun Watson I remember when he made that play in college in the national championship game where he was dove, I think it was a first down or a touchdown, and he got hit into the spinorama into the end zone. I was like, this guy is going to make an insane NFL quarterback. He could throw, running, and take hits. Like he's awesome. Obviously, we find out personality-wise, maybe not the highest integrity.
Yeah.
So I get that. I totally get it. And I don't have an appreciation for how much people dislike him representing kind of their local people. Which also comes down to then if Shedeur's doing all these nice things and he's in the community and he speaks well, I wouldn't want to, if you're gonna lose, put someone out there that people like.
If the Browns put Deshaun Watson on the football field, I have been to quite a few Browns games in my day, Stephen. I will say that crowd can get violent. Like
I can imagine.
It's a violent energy in that place. I think back to I was at the Thursday night game when Baker Mayfield came in and led them to their first win in 2 years. The Browns were down quite handily in that game before he came in. It was violent. Like you didn't want to be there. If Deshaun Watson's on that football field, I would not want to be at that football game. Like I would be terrified of the atmosphere inside of that stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, that I can imagine that. I don't know Ohio well, but I think Ohio, there's a lot of built up long history of anger there towards the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. One of the worst franchises in all of sports. There's no debate.
Switching gears a little bit.
Yeah, let's check out your team here.
So is that big enough? Should I zoom in? Let's zoom in here.
Yeah.
Oh, you zoomed about a little bit. There we go.
Matt Collins there on the bench, huh?
So well, this is the decision I have to make. I picked up Matt Collins last week, and obviously I didn't win, and was up against JT, but he had a great week, and I think he was number one in targets of all receivers for the week.
Yes, he was.
The question is is he gonna perform again at the same level? Should we keep him in? Kayshon Boutte is set to miss. So it might make sense. I also went out and picked up Tyler Lockett, and I put Trey Tucker on the bench. Lockett had 6, made 5 catches, 44 yards, was serviceable, and seemed to be preferred over Trey Tucker and any of the other guys. I know you've got eyes on Jack Beck. He wasn't great last week. So I've got some decisions to make. I've got Io Manor,
Got it. Nice.
who's been good previously. For me, serviceable again. So I've got to, again, I'm back at the well, making decision on wide receivers. And Olamide, he was bad last week.
Yeah, Luther Burn
He
was
has a hard
back,
time catching the
so
ball.
he does, certainly. Although I will say the Bears did not do anything in that game for like the vast majority.
Yeah. But you can at least catch the ball.
Yeah, you could have a couple catches, but
So I'm
I mean,
thinking,
I think you start Matt Collins again over Io Manor, would be my
yeah,
opinion.
I was thinking the same thing.
No Kayshon Boutte again. That's what I was talking about before he came on stream. So the Jets are really bad against like perimeter receivers. That's majority where he plays. So I bet Matt Collins to score a touchdown tonight. So I like Matt
Yeah.
Collins tonight.
Okay. And then what do you think? Locker over Tucker?
Yeah, that one's tough. That one is close. I think Tucker probably higher ceiling, Lockett a little bit safer. I would, man, I'd probably be willing to kind of chase the ceiling against Dallas just because their defense is so bad. But I guess you kind of like you could probably wait this out since they play Monday and kind of see like if you really need to make up points, you could go Trey Tucker if you're if it's close or something and you just want a couple points, you could probably go Lockett. But if it were my team, I'd probably go Trey Tucker. But that's just how I play typically. I see him projected for 11. What do they have Lockett projected for? Just out of curiosity, I don't know about the quality of these projections, but
I don't find they're great.
Yeah, I mean,
because they take his past performance in where he got very little action in Tennessee.
Sure. I would guess like my brain would project Trey Tucker higher. So I would go with him, but you're kind of at the discretion. I can't, I still like, I've went off on the Raiders on the stream about this previously. Like, it's like, how do you draft a guy in the 2nd round and the 4th round and you're running Tyler Lockett over him? Like this is this type of stuff I talk about of these guys that are all friends in the NFL and they just give their friends jobs. Like Tyler Lockett is only playing for this team because he's friends with Pete Carroll. Like that's the only reason. There's no explanation, a logical team.
Geno Smith is the quarterback. And
yeah, there's no logic in being a terrible team and you have a 2nd round and a 4th round receiver on your team and you're playing some 35-year-old guy that's not going to be on your team next year over them. Like it does not make any sense.
Yeah, and that's like thesis of why I wanted to keep him in is that he's still gonna get the he's gonna get the
he's probably got some contract incentive and they're like, dude, yeah, we're just gonna throw you the ball. We're gonna get you an extra $20,000 or something.
Well, and I know exactly what it is. It's like because they trust him. They trust him.
Sure.
And like if you look, he catches the ball, but they only throw him. I don't know what his like yards after catch. They're obviously not great. Is he in a position to run? I don't know, but like I don't know. Like Lockett is their buddy, which is why I picked him up.
He is. You are correct in that thinking. Trey Tucker has had big games though with Geno Smith this year. I do think there's like
he had one massive game, which
I was gonna say what
stats.
Yeah, he had he had the 40 ball, but he's got a couple double digits in there too.
Yeah,
this is the best matchup he's had really since.
Okay,
I mean Dallas is just so bad, man.
We'll do this now. The last one is Charbonnet against the Rams. I have concerns.
Yeah, that is tough.
He was good here. He wasn't great here. He was great here. Every second week. So at Los Angeles.
Yeah, this is game of the week in my opinion. I think this is the best game on the board this week. This would be a great game. Wait, so what are the options you have for him again?
Well, I could put Lockett or I could put
Yeah,
either
you could
Manor.
double dip. Can I see
I
available
could
like is there anybody worth picking up whatsoever?
probably not.
There's one player in particular I'm curious if he's available.
And I could do this in SportWise too, but
Yeah. Okay. Can you go to running backs quickly? Oh, chat. Do you see what I see? Should we make Steve ride it with me? Oh my God, Steve, we have the opportunity. I am starting in 2 leagues in which I am in first and second place, and these are big money leagues this week. I am starting at running back, someone on this list because I have bye weeks. So you have the opportunity to ride it with me.
Chris Rodriguez Jr.
It is Chris Rodriguez Jr. If you want to get frisky. You also have Michael Carter. What is up with the Arizona stuff? I needed to check the injury report again. Like, is Bam Knight playing?
I have him. I don't know.
Hold on, let me check really quick for you. Let's do a quick looky here at running backs. Let's see, Carter. Oh man, I don't know. I think it's Michael Carter, man. I don't think those guys are playing because from what I just looked at, had Michael Carter pretty high projected, like almost 12 points. So
Yeah.
what is he projected for on this website? Let me see.
1 point.
Yeah, that can't be updated.
Well, it's because he's got no history. I think
That's
they
also
really...
true. Yeah. Okay. So wait. Well, how about we do this? How about we pick up Michael Carter and we pick up Chris Rodriguez?
Well, who are we gonna drop?
Let's see here. Go back to your. Well, you can drop Bam Knight because he's hurt. Like I don't think he's gonna play. Let me.
But
like,
I want to keep him though,
I guess
because he's gonna get healthy. And I will not get him back. Someone else will pick him up.
True. Okay. What about?
Like I can get rid of him.
Okay. Yeah. We can. Yeah. Let's.
That's our thing. We hate. He's dusty.
Let's get rid of him for sure.
Okay.
But pick up. I'm trying to think of how to go about this. What you could do is pick up Michael Carter, and then like if Bam Knight ends up playing, then you drop Michael Carter and pick Chris Rodriguez up and play Chris Rodriguez. This is where I'm at, thinking it through. And then if Bam Knight's out, then you play Michael Carter regardless. But I am riding Chris Rodriguez in a few leagues. So if you want to just bite the bullet and ride along with me, then you can do that too. He scored last week. He got a ton of positive talk. Like he's going to be the lead back. The Commanders didn't do anything last week, but he did score a touchdown. This is a spot against Miami, like where he could. The Commanders should be able to score some points against the Dolphins, if I had to imagine.
I got a meeting in 5, but let's do this really quick. Do I have games in here? Where are they? So I'm just loading up all of the game by game data.
Yeah.
Let's look at.
I don't trust Cardinals running backs. I agree, Austin, but just like thinking it from like a DFS perspective, if those Cardinals guys are out, like Michael Carter's going to be like he's going to be chalk running back. He's 4K on DraftKings. And the projections, I just looked at multiple projection sources and they have him projected for between 11.5 and 12.5 points. So I'm assuming that the projections are baking in that these Cardinals guys are going to be out and he's going to be the lead back.
He had 32 rushing attempts in this game. Wow.
Oh, who? Jonathan Taylor?
Like that must be in great shape.
Dude, that's like a 1990s running back stat line. Like nobody gets 30 carries anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, like he had 12 for 65. You know, like I'm riding him. $200 buy-in league, I'm starting Chris Rodriguez. $300 buy-in league, I'm starting Chris Rodriguez this week. Like I am riding or dying with Chris Rodriguez. So if you want to hop in, you're more than welcome. I told
Okay, so Charbonnet
I told
had
Ryan earlier to ride him with me in the chat as well.
Charbonnet had 14 last week.
Charbonnet is just hit or miss, like it's touchdown or bust, But then I view that as Chris Rodriguez too, touchdown or bust.
Yeah,
So
because he had 83 yards. So he had 8 points.
Yeah, and
So
Chris Rodriguez had. That's what I'm saying. Like if they score a touchdown, they're going to do really well. If they don't, they're not. But would you rather go against the Rams or the Dolphins? I'd rather go against the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's probably the kicker right there. What's going on here, Mike?
Because the Rams are a tough matchup, and you also the Commanders are worse offensively, but they seem pretty done with Bill Krosky-Mara. Like I don't think there's really another threat to get goal line carries. Whereas, like, the Seahawks could give goal line carries to Kenneth Walker. I don't really know. Like, that's kind of an unknown. I would assume, especially after he scored last week, Chris Rodriguez has a handle on the goal line stuff. I'm sure Charbonnet projects better, though. Like, no, they project the exact same. I would lean Rodriguez. This is my pick, though. Cardinals aren't afraid to throw it every play. Yeah, I do agree with that, too, Austin. It might be Chris Rodriguez. I think you ride. It'll be like when we had Aiden, we were all going to ride Juju, but then he bailed. Yeah. I think we just ride. We just do this as a collective team.
Okay, well,
we're going to will him into the end zone.
I got no problem doing that and getting rid of Olamide. It's the Michael Carter. I'm not doing that.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're going to will him to a big game on Sunday, and I'm going to get the whole chat on Sunday. We're riding this. Everybody, if you're in the chat, there's a good amount of people in here. Go pick him up. We're riding this week. Everybody.
Okay. Well, we'll put him in for now, and then maybe I check it out later, just like Aiden did on Juju.
Yeah. I don't want you to come on this stream and tell me that you took him out or something. Like if you're committing, we're in on it.
Well, here's the other thing is like there's so much going on in my life at all times that I set my roster on Thursday, and it's quite possible I just forget to look at it again until Sunday.
That is very true. All right.
Okay. So I got to go in like a minute, but I want to quickly look at the guillotine. I want to see how we survived.
Oh, we did, yeah. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. Do this. Yeah, it was tight, but we got through with 115. So FlexBets, they got eliminated with 107. RotoWire was at 114, and we were at 115. So it was tight. Well, it was my fault because I forgot to switch Aaron Jones for Chuba Hubbard. So I would have had more points, but I forgot to do that. So Jonathan Taylor's 50 bomb is literally the only reason that we survived.
Wow.
But we survived a 0.
Well,
and then
what did go with? Click on. Can you do your MER? How do you can you click that on? Okay, he had 15.
That was a big mistake. That would have been another 13 points. We would have rocketed up the standings here a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in a good spot this week, though. We have to survive Jonathan Taylor's bye week. That's our last thing that we have to get through here.
Yeah, but barring any zeros, that shouldn't be a problem.
No, I'm feeling.
You got Dallas back, and
Dallas full stack against the Raiders should be good. JSN in a big close game should be good. Jefferson should do something.
We need JJ to do something, but the Bears still win.
Yes, we're in a good spot. I think we're gonna if we can get past this bye week. I really think we can win this league. We'll see what happens.
Well, you got Dallas coming off a bye. They're going to be gunslinging. They're going to be rested, jacked up.
And the Raiders are terrible.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this is always fun. The bright spot of my week is coming on the stream. As I mentioned previously, every second Thursday, 27th is the next one. We're going to have a developer one for any of you nerds out there that want to nerd out on data. We'll see you there.
Yeah. Chat, thanks for tuning in. If you missed the Thursday Night Football stuff, go back to the beginning of the stream. Good luck tonight, and we'll see everybody tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Thanks, Chad.